with your permission, sir. So I'll just make some very brief remarks, essentially just a couple of them, in addition to what Suyash had said and the other discussants said about the need for regulatory impact assessment, focusing very specifically on subordinate legislation. I also want to draw attention to the generally very poorly drafted nature of a lot of subordinate legislation in India. In fact, as I was speaking, I received this new regulation. The Chandigarh administrator formally calls it a policy called as Controlling Places of Public Amusement 2016. This got notified yesterday. It's, with your permission, I'll just read out 2 or 3 sections. And besides being utterly ridiculous, this is to cover everything which is called public amusement, circus. It's actually the title of the foreword is disco policy. That's what the Chandigarh press has called it, because it also covers.
A short skirt.
No, I'll just read out 2 sections, not the entire sections. This is on par of refusal of permission certificate for operation of businesses. The nodal officer may refuse issuance on any of the following grounds if it's considered to be indecent or of scurrilous character. Perhaps a lot of regulations have these very loose wordings. It goes on to say, contain offensive references to personalities. Full stop. To wound the susceptibilities of any nation or followers of any religion. Again, fairly common, but the killer is powers and duties of the committee. There is a committee created under the district magistrate which has a lot of members, which has powers to visit. The first one is, as is to be expected, the committee in every place of amusement you shall necessarily reserve, as expected, 2 seats in the highest class of accommodation for the purpose of monitoring the ongoing activities. Fair enough. I sympathize with it as a civil servant. Nodal committee reserves the right to impose any other conditions. But these are really... Committee shall ensure that no performance at places of public amusement shall be certified as suitable, which will lower the moral standards of those who see it. Full stop. Hence, sympathy of the audience, and I'm reading it verbatim from the Gazette of India, sympathy of the audience shall not be thrown on the side of crime, wrongdoing, evil, or sin. And the monitoring committee has the duty to monitor this on a continuing basis when performances are going on. Committee shall monitor the standard of life shall not be so portrayed as to deprive, I presume they have deprave in mind, as to deprive the morality of the audience, and so on. And this is something which practically covers every activities that, which you could call as public amusement. So at a little more serious level, why does this happen? And I thought I'll just take 1 minute to speak about this excellent sort of theoretical literature on the subject of why does society typically tend to treat regulation as a free good? And there is an enormous amount of good quality literature which shows this. Typically, and taking the example of financial sector with which I am more familiar, the costs of complying with regulation and supervision typically tends to be a few basis points, which are sort of widely diffused over millions of customers of financial intermediaries. So it will turn out to be what looks like a basis point or a 0.25% of interest as the cost of regulation on each one of us. So typically, as customers, we are unaware that the regulatory system is actually imposing a cost on us. And therefore, most of us as clients perceive the cost of regulatory system as free. And there is some very interesting work done by Ajay Shah. He's not here. He's had to leave for a meeting on the amount of money that the Reserve Bank of India spends on what is called regulation. It's well worth your time. Take a look at it. It runs into 4-digit crores. It's not a small number. Why do we perceive this to be costless? Look at the benefit side. The direct perceived benefit is that it prevents a loss. So a lot of us think that it's a very good thing. And it also, certainly, if I am an individual investor, and it eliminates in the sort of presence of regulation, the due diligence that I would have otherwise done on a regulated firm gets taken away. So there is an indirect benefit. And all of us scream the moment we individually face a loss. A deposit which has gone away with a bank which sunk, or a mutual fund which went bust and my money is gone. And therefore, there is constant clamor from injured clients for more regulation, more supervision, and it gets transmitted to politicians. And there is no way that you can indicate, any consumer can indicate the price that he or she is willing to pay. This is inherently not something which can be exhibited. So there is a clear incentive for all of us as beneficiaries, quote unquote, of regulation to keep demanding more and more regulation, completely oblivious of the cost of regulation. And what is the incentive structure facing the regulator or the supervisor? All of us would recall the last time the Reserve Bank of India was before a parliamentary committee or before CVC was Harshad Mehta, SEBI, Ketan Parikh. Does any of us recall one occasion where a parliamentary committee called a regulator and said, you guys did an excellent job. You prevented this crisis, or you prevented that from happening, or you enhanced consumer benefit in some particular way? That never happens. So there is a clear tendency on the part of the regulator to avoid failure at any cost, because the cost of failure is oftentimes jail, very clearly public ridicule, endless CBI, CVC, etc. Err on the side of caution, keep plying the system with more regulation. The costs are borne completely invisibly by somebody else. So there is this twin tendency to demand and supply more regulation. And I think that's the reason why we need to guard against, sort of in addition to all of the reasons that was mentioned, the need for a regulatory impact analysis type of exercise is essentially for a lot of not immediately interested parties, perhaps academics, perhaps think tanks like this, perhaps intermediaries who typically immediately bear the brunt of this cost, to actually examine and conclude on the need for regulation.